agenda. So, to cut a long story short, when we came round to be shown each your plot of land for your embassy, they looked at me and I was standing next to my friend, Prime Minister, and someone said, this is why small Gambia such a location? I said, well, you are not rewarded because of your size. You are rewarded for being a grateful nation. And so we are very grateful. We didn't select this site. And then somebody remarked in French, the good thing is that when you buy the Gambia, in any language I will understand. Let's see how they're going to build it. I turned around and I told him, for sure, my chancery building will stand before yours, and I invite you to the inauguration. And as we were passing, since then I didn't have the chance to come to Ethiopia, I was looking around to see whether I was correct. Then I saw a fence, and the ambassador said, this is that particular country's place. And then, is it built? And he emphatically said, no, it's just a plot. He just fenced it. I said, thank God. I want to thank all the people of Ethiopia for their hospitality, for their Pan-Africanism, and for taking the trouble of hosting the OAU then, when things were very difficult. We owe you, generations of Africans would owe you an eternal debt of gratitude. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to further commend the government and brotherly people of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia for its well-defined and far-sighted policy through which it has dissipated all efforts to provide diplomatic missions accredited to this country and to the African Union Commission with adequate quality facilities and amenities. I therefore say, Betam Amesang Nalehu to you. The distinguished representative of the Honorable Prime Minister of the brotherly country of Ethiopia. We want to thank you for your exemplary Pan-Africanism. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrongly. I had flown 8 hours and spent only 15 minutes in the hotel, and I was young to come and deliver this statement. So you can see from my eyes too. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to point out that soon after this piece of land was allocated to us, my government wasted no time in mobilizing the requisite funds for the construction of this befitting chancery. Indeed, we were privileged to have a very competent and dynamic team, including the contractor, Mr. Esaias Gatechao, designer, AE Consult, and supervisor K2N Engineering, an architectural company, who worked tirelessly to get this ultra-modern structure completed. I must therefore seize this momentous opportunity to say bravo to His Excellency, the second unofficial contractor, Ambassador Modou Sadio Jallo, our ambassador and his entire staff of the embassy, as well as the contractor, the supervisor, and staff. Indeed, you have done us proud. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, My government's policy is to provide staff of its diplomatic missions abroad with a conducive working environment. Today's gathering is a demonstration of this policy. I must also add that the coming years will witness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willing, the commissioning and eventual inauguration of similar projects designed for chancelleries, residencies of our ambassadors and staff quarters in our other diplomatic missions overseas. I think the MC is the youngest here, and he stated that in his lifetime, he has never witnessed the inauguration of any Gambian chancery building. Well, maybe I'm the oldest, and I've never heard of or read in any history book a Gambian chancery building being inaugurated at any given time since 1965. What I know is that we are very good tenants. And you can read between the lines to know what I mean. I would also like to seize this opportunity to reiterate our commitments towards enhancing the strong cordial bonds of brotherhood and cooperation which happily exist between the Republic of the Gambia and the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia in collaboration with my counterpart and brother, His Excellency Prime Minister Ato Mele Sinawi. My government will also continue to work closely with the African Union Commission for the advancement and attainment of our continental objectives. In conclusion, therefore, I stand before Your Excellencies today, 28 January 2012, as a very happy and proud man for having been able, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to preside over this historic inauguration of this magnificent edifice. Isn't it beautiful that barely a fortnight after my inauguration to a fourth term, we are today inaugurating the first inauguration of a Gambia Chancery building, and as well as the inauguration of the African Union Commission headquarters. On this note, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now have the singular honor and pleasure to declare this Chancery building open. I want to thank you all for coming to join us in this milestone event. May the Almighty Allah reward you. To our brothers and sisters in Ethiopia, let me make this very clear to you, that on behalf of every Gambian, I want to thank you for this magnificent demonstration of real Pan-Africanism. It's not easy to host different heads of states from different parts of Africa, more so to host their headquarters permanently. Forgive us where we went wrong. It was not our intention to misbehave sometimes. That's a reality. We are all human beings. But what is important is the fact that we are all interested in one thing: regaining Africa's lost glory, the total emancipation of the African continent, not from colonialism anymore, but from abject poverty, vicious, endless circle of violence. Today, unfortunately,